It happens to be one of the scariest things going. Something sparks up a fire, the wind kicks up and whoosh.
Right, and any New Mexican can tell you it's a huge problem here.
Yeah.
Dan Ware with the State Forestry Department is here to make us more aware of, you know, what we're doing here.
Yeah, welcome, Dan.
Yes,
Thanks, I appreciate you having me.
And it's certainly apropos that you're here this week with all the talk about the fire warnings throughout the state.
That's right. It's Wildfire Awareness Week here in New Mexico, and that extends through the weekend.
Yes.
But with the way the weather has been all spring, we really need to have been aware about wildfires for a couple of months now, and unfortunately it's going to continue into the summer months.
Right.
No kidding. Well, we're going to be reaching some possibly record-breaking temperatures this weekend, as we've been hearing, and of course those winds are picking up, so it's certainly a very relevant thing. And you've been the spokesperson for the division for quite a while, so describe for us just the harsh realities that you've been seeing and dealing with.
Well, you know, anytime your weather goes through a change, which is what we've seen in recent years, we've got a lot of vegetation out there. Trees, grass, brush. You know, last year we caught a break. We had a great winter, we had a good spring, lots of skiing and lots of just, it was a great winter.
It was perfect.
But then we didn't get much of a monsoon. And then we had a very dry fall, and then the La Nina pattern set up, and we had a very dry winter. And so all the vegetation that grew up last spring because of the great winter dried out. And that's what we're dealing with now. So predominantly our fires are on the eastern and southern parts of the state where we have a lot of grass and brush. And so we're seeing very large fires. We've been a little lucky in that our evenings have cooled off, and that slows fire down.
That's the good. I was just going to ask you about that, because I've noticed
that. But as we get closer to summer, our evenings are going to stay warm, and our humidity levels will stay low. And so what we'll start to see is extended periods of fire. And really, this is the time where all of the fire agencies around the state, local, state, federal, tribal, this is where we really need everybody's help in keeping fires from starting.
So Dan, what can you do to keep fires from starting?
Yeah, what's some of the ways we can help?
Well, it goes without saying, if folks live in a rural area, they've got a lot of open space around them, they need to do their part in keeping the grass and debris away from their homes. Keep the lawns mowed, create defensible space around their homes.
And be proactive about it, really.
Really, exactly right. It doesn't do much good if you as a landowner take care of your defensible space, but if your neighbors don't, all that's really going to do is give you some time to get out. This needs to be a community effort.
Absolutely.
Now we've got some video of the quail fire. Can you talk about that?
Sure.
Yes.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about. You've got a fire that moved through a neighborhood and took out homes that had a lot of grass, a lot of debris around them. But the pictures that we saw showed how it would skip over homes that had defensible space. And there's a lot of areas in the state where folks have been really proactive about creating defensible space.
What again is defensible space?
Defensible space is the area around your home and structures on your property that you clear out. You keep wood piles away from the buildings, you keep the grass and weeds mowed, especially around propane tanks, of course. It's not 100%. You know, I'm not going to say if you have defensible space, your home's going to be safe. But it's the best thing that you as a homeowner can do to give yourselves a chance, one, to evacuate, and two, to protect the lives and property.
And it's about thinking ahead, really.
That's right.
Sometimes I think convenience, like, oh, let's keep the logs right by the house so I don't have to walk that far.
Nobody wants to walk 20, 30 yards in a snowstorm to get wood for the fireplace. But, you know, when it comes to springtime, you've got to move that stuff away. It doesn't take much effort.
And the thing is, this is the time of year people want to be outside grilling and doing all of those kind of things, too, that are going to require fire. And that's why you have to be so on top of this.
The thing is, you know, we always talk about red flag warning days. It doesn't need to be windy right now for there to be a big fire. So folks really need to use a lot of common sense, be very, very careful with any kind of burning.
What if somebody recognizes somebody else doing something a little foolhardy that maybe could result in a fire? What would you recommend?
Well, if you get along with them, if you know the, I mean, we obviously don't want to cause any conflicts. But we need to to educate ourselves as communities.
Definitely.
To what we need to be doing and what we need to avoid doing.
Okay, good. Well, I
Right.
want to let everybody know that the fire restriction number to call is 877-864-6985. You can also get information from the websites at nmfireinfo.com or firewise.org. And even though we're approaching the end of Wildfire Awareness Week, we're really in the midst of wildfire season, and it really looks to be a long one this year. So we really appreciate
Yes,
you
Dan,
bringing this
thank you.
awareness to us, Dan. Thank you.
Appreciate you
Appreciate it.
guys having me.
And we'll take your advice personally, and we'll spread the word.
Great.
We'll come out this weekend and help you.
Okay, I like that. I like to hear that. Now, if they had opposable thumbs, well, there are some pretty smart canines out there who could probably actually do it. Coming up, a whimsical fantasy, if a dog could blog.